Hey there, it's Linda Rayner and welcome back to my channel. So recently I came across an article on Forbes and it was titled Overcoming the Challenges of Being a Working Mom. And I thought this is super relevant because I'm doing this series dedicated to working moms who are trying to balance it all, having kids while also being super ambitious and career driven. So today I'm going to dive into this topic a little bit more and really explain to you what an expectation is and the impact that it can have on you and how to transmute it and turn it into something that is more positive, more free flowing, more in line with who you are. And I'm actually going to share with you several practical steps on what you can do to start to switch your expectations to something that is more aligned with you. Time after time that I speak to working moms, and even being myself a working mom, I know exactly what it feels like to feel that mom guilt. You're doing one thing, but your mind is focused on something else because you feel guilty that you're not doing that something else, even though the thing that you're doing is really important. So for example, you're spending a lot of time working on a project for your job, and at the same time you feel guilty because you're not using that time to spend with your children. And so when you are spending time with your children, though, you're not being present because your mind is focused on what you have to do next based off of your to-do list. And so you feel guilty while you're spending time with your kids, even though you're spending time with them, because you're not present. So the guilt never ends. Energetically, we create expectations for ourselves because at the root of it all, we are trying to prove something to ourselves or to others. We're trying to prove something. We're trying to prove our worth. We're trying to prove our value. Because if we say to ourselves, I have high expectations, I have high standards for how I want things to be done in my house, in my home, in my work, with my children, the way that I parent, I have very high expectations. And you hold yourself to those high expectations. What it is that you're doing is that you've basically created a very rigid and strict box within which you're living. I have to look like I have it all together. I have to look like I'm always happy, and I have to look like I'm always positive. And so I hold myself to these expectations where I don't allow myself to express negative emotion. I don't allow myself to feel what I'm feeling. I strictly live by the standards that society has set on me and what I have set on myself based on what I've learned and seen and observed around me. So my entire life is based off of me living through the eyes of others. That's what expectations are. And so when you think of it like that, you have to ask yourself, do I want to continue to live this way? Do I want to continue to box myself in and live from a very limited place? Because it is very confining. So how do we get out of that? I'm going to share with you 6 practical steps on how you can go from someone who has very rigid, strict expectations for yourself to then someone who can live your life with more peace, more ease, more freedom. I'm not saying it's going to remove all the problems in your life, but it's going to loosen things up, massage things up quite a bit for you, that you're not going to feel as much pressure and overwhelm. Step number 1, become aware of the expectations by writing them down. You know, if you know me, you know that I am a huge advocate of journaling, and I truly believe that journaling is a meditative practice in itself. You need to take time for yourself. Before I even talk about the journal, actually, take time for yourself to be with yourself, to connect with yourself. That should be step 1. So take that time. Take that time today after watching this video. Step 1. Step 2, go into a quiet, centered space within yourself and ask yourself, what are the expectations that I've created for myself? And start writing them down one by one. They might be something as simple as, I expect to make home-cooked meals for my family every single night. I have to tell you, in this modern day and age, with the time constraints, with busy work schedules, everybody's schedules, It might not always work out that you can make a home cooked meal. Now, I'm sure, moms out there that can make a home cooked meal each and every day, and there's no issues for them because that is in line with what makes them feel truly fulfilled and happy. But if it's bringing you stress, if it's bringing you anxiety, if it's bringing tension into your everyday energy, then that needs to be looked at a little bit more closely. So what are the expectations that you hold on to? Step number 3, ask yourself, what feelings am I trying to achieve by meeting these expectations? Am I trying to feel as though I'm a good mom, as though I'm worthy? Am I trying to achieve a feeling of self-worth? I'm nothing if I don't make a home-cooked meal for my children. Is that what you're saying to yourself? That's the judgment coming in. That's the opposite of what it feels like to be going towards a goal that's open-ended, that's intentional, but fluid and free. You're putting this strict law on yourself that it has to be this way, and if it's not, then this is what it means about me. You're tying your self-worth to these expectations. So again, ask yourself, why? What am I trying to achieve? What am I trying to feel from this? What am I trying to gain by having these expectations? Step 4, deeply forgive your adult self. What I mean by that is you want to start through the process of unraveling and start to understand how you got to be where you are today, where you've developed these really strict boundaries and expectations for yourself. I'm not talking about boundaries with other people. I'm talking about boundaries in the way that you're living. I can only live my life according to the lines in this box. I can't step outside of that. I can't express more of who I am. That's not allowed. Start to understand that's partially what you're doing, and start to forgive yourself. Start to go deeper within yourself and understand the intention that you had behind all these expectations. Ask yourself, do I need to hold on to this particular expectation, or can I shift it to something else? Step 5, switch the energy of these expectations to the energy of goals and intentions. The energy of a goal. Intention is the same way. You intend for something to happen, but if it doesn't happen, so be it. It was your intention, but if it doesn't happen that way, you're not going to value yourself according to the result. It's just like when you're applying for a job. You might apply to 5 different jobs, and if your intention is to get a good job offer, you'll likely get a good job offer eventually at some point in time if you do all the right steps. If your expectation, however, is to get one particular job out of the group of 5 with a specific company in a specific role with a specific team, that's the expectation. You can only intend for that to happen. You can only set it as a goal, but if it doesn't happen, it has nothing to do with you and your self-worth. Step 6. I know there are a lot of steps here, but you're going to take the time and you're going to do this. This is going to be a lifelong process. I mean, I don't want to say it's lifelong, but it's going to be an ongoing process of unraveling your expectations. Step 6, write down the positives of the day at the end of the day. So before you go to bed, grab your journal and write down, what are the things that I was able to do today? What were the goals that I had or that I intended to be able to accomplish that I was actually able to do? Write those down, both personal and professional. You led a group meeting at work, a team meeting at work. Check. You were able to prepare your kids' lunches. Check. Things that you were able to achieve in that day, because you need to feed yourself with that positive energy. You need to feed yourself with recognition and acknowledgement. A lot of the time, we have the expectations that we set on ourselves because we're actually looking for acknowledgement from others that we're able to achieve that expectation. And then finally, step 7 is to rinse and repeat this process over and over and over again. So follow all the steps that I just described each and every time you find yourself caught up in the overwhelm, the tension, the exhaustion, the anxiety of trying to just go through your everyday life. You have to reevaluate, what am I expecting from myself that is causing so much pressure and tension? I really hope that this was helpful for you. And in return for sharing all of these practical steps, I would love to hear from you in the comments down below. What expectations do you currently set on yourself right now? And what are you struggling with when it comes to your expectations? Share with me down below. I'd love to see and read them. I'm all about reading the comments. So if you can really share, that would be fantastic. Let me know what your current expectations are and how you're going to shift them. And another announcement that I'd like to make is that moving forward, I will be offering free group live coaching from me. What I mean by that is I'm going to be offering intuitive, I love to call it soul coaching or intuitive career therapy in a group setting to anyone that has a question that they're currently dealing with, a challenge that you're currently struggling with, and you want to ask me directly for me to be able to tap into you and your energy and to share with you what comes through and the guidance and the practical steps that I can give you. This is going to be completely free and is going to be available to anyone who's interested. Obviously, if you're a working mom, this will likely be very helpful because there will be other working moms there. And so we can create a community of like-minded working mom professionals to share each other's struggles and challenges and to talk it through. So if this is something that you're interested in, definitely check it out. It's in the link down below in my description box. Sign up, put in your email, and when the next live group coaching happens, I will be sure to send an email to you to let you know. All right. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Share it with your friends. And thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.